Welcome back to some more Dwarf Fortress. So, as promised in the previous episode, I have spent a good bit of time designing a water system for this fortress, and it is significantly more complex than the previous one, although that is in part to address a couple of the issues, notably the training area and the sort of flushing of refuse into a better location, as well as the necessity of basically dropping water 100 plus sea levels. So, a quick overview of the new sort of water supply system. I have started, or rather I have designated it all. I'm going to need another 2 miners at least, as this is a very, very large project. Not quite mega project worthy, but it's probably doubling the size of the dig out that we need to do. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go have a look. So the only sort of aspect that you can see from the top will be a single down stairway that's under where the trade depot is currently. That goes down here and opens into this area. I know for certain that there is an aquifer, I believe, starting here-ish, which is the reason for some of the sort of relocation of the fortress. I've had to dig around it. So that goes down and just dodges the aquifer. Here is the sort of test to make sure that everything's working for whatever reason. The aquifer is either briny or salty or murky or whatever. I can just test this here. If this doesn't work, and I actually need to add a bit more space to that. If this doesn't work, or rather assuming that this works, I can simply connect them. I'm going to have a door somewhere in here to sort of allow it to fully fill the fortress. So, after the water has been proofed, it flows down to here, and I'm going to be using a corner hole method. So this is the sort of main access tunnel, shaft, what have you, and there's going to be four channels dug out here to allow water down. The reason for that mostly is the amount of water needed for this project. Even with an aquifer spewing out water, I'm expecting this to take very easily a year to fill fully, maybe half a year to refill once the system has been primed. So after this, we hit the first of the sort of heads. So this is a 24 by 24 reservoir. These 3 stairwells here are simply for service. All this stuff is going to be collected and used for industry and whatnot. No need to have good stone go to waste. So we come down here another 30 levels. And luckily Dwarf Fortress doesn't really calculate pressure normally. It's sort of a per Z level calculation. So once we hit here, it's back to the simple 4-corner transports. The plan is, at least currently, having 8 2x2 holes, one near the edge and then one towards the center, spaced out equally to allow the water to dump through quickly. So, the reason for all of the sort of water dumping will become apparent here in a second. After you come down here, this is the main sort of defensive gate. And just to keep everything nice and lined up, I've gone ahead and started digging that out, or designating it out. So similar to the last fortress, I'm not really expecting anything along the side to work very well. So instead, I've gone straight for the above design. I'm going to carve out a small access tunnel, and then very carefully shave this down. Probably block everything off and just dump it in one, drop it in one big piece, and not have to muck around with it too much. But this will be fortification with access. I'm a little concerned with this area here. It might have a few problems with the pathfinding, but because it's a separate area and it's more of a confined instead of an open area, I'm thinking it should be fine. As long as I put a waypoint here and a waypoint here, I'm hoping everything works out. So, back to the water supply. This comes down here, and this is a side access for basically military use. It's more of a constant pressure instead of a... Of course, you can turn the entire system off, but this has a lot more constant pressure as it's designed for more full-time use. So, the main water supply comes down further. And this is the side access to for the military. So here's the sort of final bit. I'm probably going to end up taking off a couple of these, just for ease of access. Mostly so it doesn't take all 2 or 3 years to get this thing built, which it's already going to take at least a year and a half. So, water comes from the sort of down supply down to the sort of tamer supply. This goes from 4 to 2, and then simply falls down here. This is the main dining room, and it shifts over here. This is there's going to be a drawbridge here. Sort of as we're done filling everything up, go ahead and stop trying to flood the fortress, please. Yeah, so this is going to be the well, and this goes down another several levels. So, coming up, we have the main dining room, or if not the main dining room, then a temporary dining room. I'm going to need to change a couple of things. And above this, I'm going to sort of just to keep everything open, I have been revealing the map so that I don't accidentally dig into the cave. I'm just hiding it back so that it's a little easier to see, a little less cluttered. So anyway, above this is going to be sort of the kitchen prep area. I've decided to keep that a little bit different. And instead of having sort of a kitchen mashed onto the side, mashed into one side of the dining room, it's going to be kitchen prep above, and then more of a buffet style with supplies just kind of scattered about. It should be a little bit more artistic than not, and hopefully it's a lot more functional. So, coming up, this will be kitchen prep, and there's going to be 2 wells. One is for sort of, we need something to drink because someone's been stupid and run us out of alcohol. The other is for the hospital. So on the left side is the hospital well. So this comes up some more. And this is the hospital sort of supply. I have the main hospital here, hospital storage, secondary hospital storage, so extra soap and whatnot, and main hospital storage up here, so whatever that's really needed. Again, I'm not really expecting to use this, but it sort of fit well with the size and location of everything. So I decided, why not? Plus, I can always have some very nice statues or whatever in the hospital and around that area. So anyone who gets injured can look at something nice while they're recovering. Helps counter the bad thoughts of getting injured. So we're back up to the sort of main supply, coming down to here. This is going to be cut. This is going to be connected rather with a its own dedicated sort of turn off switch. So this will get opened up and this will get flooded. I have actually forgot to designate these, but this is going to be cleared out, and because I have this is level 100, so this is 101. Instead of having to carry the food down or up and down 100 levels, so it's 200 tiles each way, why not just produce it down here, where it's a lot easier to access? So, realistically, far more tiles, far more farmland than we're ever going to need. However, I can always bring some animals down here for grazing, especially ones that don't need a lot of food. Hopefully, once I open up the caves this time, things will start to sprout. So, that's sort of assuming that that's going to happen. So, water comes in here, down, and floods this. And this is a 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th level. And then once we get down here, this entire sort of bottom row is open. And then this area down here is blocked off with a drawbridge, carved out. And then down here is a fortification that basically acts as a drain, so all the water simply flows off the edge of the map. So, that's the sort of basics of the new water design that I've got. Hopefully it's clear, and hopefully it works a lot better than last time. I know there was a couple of problems sort of with the supply. Basically, water tends to evaporate. It's the sort of liquid evaporation is a little bit more noticeable with lava as it moves slower. But water, you sort of lose 5 to 10% of your water supply just due to evaporation as you try to move it down, which is why I have everything blocked off. So, water doesn't evaporate as long as it's 4, I think it's 4 of 7 or deeper. So, in theory, if you can flood the stuff fast enough, then it's not really an issue. If you take all day, then it's going to be quite the hassle to try and get everything flooded. So the idea behind that, of course, is get the very large sort of backup supply, get that sorted, and then release it all at once, get it flooded in one big go, and then seal that off and do the next project. So, in order to sort of avoid an overly long video and give me something shorter to upload, I'm going to cut it here. And I will be doing another video here momentarily. So, until then, stay safe.